Can you guys hear me? Awesome. Jeez, you set it out, eh? 5 p.m. Die hard, true entrepreneurs. I hope you guys are good. And it's true, that's what it takes, eh? You know, there's this, my favorite saying is that great people are either waking up at 5 or going to sleep at 5. So you guys are still here, and this when one day you succeed and people say it's overnight success, but they don't see any of this, right? And I can tell you stories, eh? So how many of you remember this advert? He's such a big dreamer, right? So I saw this advert like you guys, and I thought, I wonder if Vuyo is based on a true story. I wondered if Vuyo actually existed, right? And then I Googled, only to find out, nope, Vuyo didn't exist. It was just a figment of an imagination of these guys in Cape Town who made their advert, right? And I thought to myself, you know, you could live and work your entire life and never create a brand. But here's a brand that was being created and it was unintentional. I mean, they were advertising Hunter. But if you look at this advert, it's only the last 15 seconds that it tells you what the product is. And so when you sit down and see you're walking around and the kids are going, oh, Vuyo is such a big dreamer, often no one remembers what the product was. But they remember, oh, Vuyo. So when I realized this, I decided, well, you know what, I'm going to put up my hand, I'm going to trademark this brand, and that's exactly what I did. From that day on, I became Voyo. It's sad, even my mom now calls me Voyo. It's true, but sad. Now, I get often asked, why did I do it? A lot of people saw the advert, they come to my restaurant and they say, hey, I saw the same advert. I actually wanted to do what you did. You'd be surprised how many times people say, I wanted to do what you did. And the only difference between myself and them is that I actually did something. But I get asked so many times as to why did I do it, that I started asking myself, actually, why did I do it, right? I mean, think about it. I'm in an IT business, my background is in IT, I see an advert, I leave everything, and I go start a business that didn't exist based on a TV advert. In fact, we're the only business in the world that started from a TV advert. So imagine telling your significant other, it's like, you know that ad, I'm gonna be that guy, I'm gonna leave this cushy job. Yeah, exactly, that's what I got. A lot of laughs. So, but then I started thinking, why did I do it? And the only logical explanation I came up with was, for as long as I could remember, my mother said to me, don't be an also-ran in life. If there's 5,000 people running a marathon, 4,999 of them serve to legitimize the winner. So they are just there to make sure that there's number one. And she said to me, don't be an also-ran. So that's like a saying at my house, don't be an also-ran, you know? And so go out and change the world, stand for something. And I remember thinking to myself, lay off me, woman, I'm only 3 years old. But that sense of purpose, I mean, that's how old when she started saying it to me. But I guess that is that sense of purpose that stuck with me, that made me do it when others didn't do, right? So, as you saw in the opening slide, I've written a book. It's called From a Big Dreamer to Living the Dream. And that's because there's a lot of people who live in their dreams, and there's very few people who actually live their dreams. Sometimes it's nice and comfortable and cozy to go to bed. So, oh, I've got these big plans, I've got this big business idea. But it's not good if it sits in your head. At some point you gotta wake up and do, right? So the world needs your dreams. That's why you guys are here. But often there's a fear, particularly if you're black. I don't know where that fear comes from. Actually, I do know. It's like, not you know that feeling? Like, yeah, but who did you fail? Who did you think you were that you could make a success of? Which doesn't make sense, because if I'm successful as an entrepreneur, due to black tax, I'm taking your kid and your kid to school. Speaking of which, of black tax, my niece graduated today from university. She's going to be a lawyer. And when I look back of all those taxes I was paying, I was like, yo. But today she's going to be a lawyer. It's actually I'm most proud. It's one of my most proud things. It wasn't there now, I'm not gonna lie to you. But the point is, if I succeed, more people succeed, right? So, and another important thing is that every business in the world was started by an entrepreneur. Right? That often gets lost. They make us like we are just these abnormal people who go against the grain. And at some point, some entrepreneur started it. Right? So, the world needs your dreams. Coming back to the book, the reason why I wrote the book was I was frustrated. As I was learning and studying my business and running it, I was learning a lot of lessons. But I couldn't find any business book that spoke about the lessons I was going through. So I read a lot, but all the books were from America or wherever else, and they were all written by entrepreneurs who were already successful. And the problem with that is that when they write these successful entrepreneurs, they make it sound easy. They make it sound like they knew that they were going to be successful, right? So when I started writing my book, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write my journey now. When I don't know whether I'm gonna be successful or not, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you what I found to have worked and what didn't work. So these are my recipes. So recipe 1 is how do you actually start something? How do you move from the dream stage to actually doing? And the truth is, it's sort of simple. How you start is by starting. There's no other way. You actually have to start. And how I started after I trademarked the Vuyo's brand, I went to the local Fourways farmers market and I started selling boerewors rolls. Now as a high-flying IT guy, now I'm selling boerewors. Yo, how the mighty have fallen. My car used to smell like chakalaka and boerewors. Right? And I did it. Every weekend I was selling those boerewors. And that's why I don't believe in business plans. Because how do you do a plan of a business when you've never sold a thing in your life or a product? You haven't sold it, but you've got projections. It's all lies, right? So that's the first thing I learned. A true business plan must be based on tangible evidence. So me going to the market and selling these boerewors, I could tell which one was selling, how many I was selling a day, how many I was selling per hour, which one was selling more than the other. So when I got to the point where I needed to do a business plan, it was based on real projections. And we started selling. And the truth is, you don't need a lot of money to start a business. And that's the nice thing about starting. You gotta just start, and start small. And that's what we did. So we got a table. They gave us a wooden table. But now we fry boerewors rolls. You see that grill over there, on top of the table there. I don't know, is this a laser? Yeah, there. Right? It's sitting on a wooden table. But we weren't that dumb. We put a concrete slab between the grill and the table. And that worked well for 4 weeks. Week number 5, Peter, the gentleman over there, forgot to put the concrete slab. He turns around to me and says, hey, Miles, we're on fire. I go, I know, look at the crowd. He says, no, we are on fire. So it turns out the table was burning, literally, was burning. And if you look on the floor, it's wood chips there on top, it's a plastic shade netting, it's starting to melt onto the boeries, but we're running a queue, and Ingamla, and Asna fire extinguisher, and so one of the first things I learned as an entrepreneur, or one of the first things I discovered as an entrepreneur was Jesus. Because there's no logical explanation why we didn't burn down that market. None. I mean, this is what the table looked like. There really isn't. Okay. So, if you're sitting out there and you haven't started yet, you're thinking about starting or whatever, this is how it feels to start a business. Can I have sound?
Me, like a superhero.
Better!
And that's how it feels to start a business. At some point, you're going to have to jump. You're going to have to leave your cozy position or the dream stage. You're just going to have to jump. Now, if you're white, it's cool because you probably have an ankle so that when you fall, someone can catch you. But it's lucky you hit the floor and it hurts, right? Because I can tell you one thing, you are going to fail. Guaranteed, you're going to fail. You're going to fail many times, right? But that's not the issue. Failing is learning. I don't know where this whole thing about failing, getting a negative connotation, like if failure is a bad thing. Failing is learning. You're never going to walk if you don't keep on falling, right? But it's nice if someone can catch you. But chances are you and I have to fall a number of times before we can figure this thing out, right? And sometimes it's better to fail fast, in the beginning. Fail very quickly and get out of the way. So the second recipe I learned was the power of PR. So I didn't start this thing at the market to end up at the market. I mean, I'm Vuyo, the big dreamer. You know, I've got big dreams. So I found what I thought was the most amazing location in Braamfontein, and I put up a store. I got all the sets I could master and put up a restaurant. And it was really cool. And how we launched it is I got 4 snow machines. It was on the 26th of December, and we made it snow. And people were eating poikis, and it was snowing outside, and it was overcast. It was beautiful, and it was full. On the 27th of December, not a single customer. The Braamfontein, there's no one. Everybody's gone to in the Eastern Cape, Zulus in KZN, everybody, there's no one, right? So I'm sitting there with a restaurant that's brand new, and there's not a single customer. Now that's a baptism of fire. It was probably the dumbest day to open a restaurant, but hey, like I said, you fall and you fail and you learn. So I decide, okay, what do I do now? So I pick up the phone and I call the Sunday Times and I say, hey, would you be interested in hearing about how we made it snow in the middle of an African summer? The reporter wasn't really interested. So we hung up, I wrote the story for him. I typed the whole thing. I said, oh, the food was delicious, but I used big words and I put the picture of the restaurant, I put his name, I typefaced it PDF and I emailed it to him. He called me about 30 minutes later with a bit of like a smile in his voice and asked me 1 or 2 questions. At this point I'm thinking maybe we'll make it to page 189 on the Sunday Times, right? And I wake up because the founder of Nando's, Robbie Brosen, sends me an SMS, says, hey dude, you're on the front page of the Sunday Times. In our 4th day of our restaurant's opening, we were on the front page of the Sunday Times. The journalist did do some journalistic stuff, okay? You see this little paragraph here? That's what he did. See this? I wrote all of that. But he did the most important part. He actually called SAP and he said, hey, there's this guy who's taking your brand and is doing this thing. What do you guys think? At this point, I had never bothered to call or find out from SAP. I read it on the Sunday Times like everybody else. And SAP said, well, good on him. If he's got the kahunas to do it, you know, congrats and good luck to him. And that was a lesson I learned there, that in life, it is better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. Yeah. And the importance there is because if I had asked for permission, they probably would have said no. Yeah. Now that I've done it, you know, sorry. But the other thing I learned was that journalists are lazy. So they often write negative stories because you don't have to look far for a negative stories. They land on their laps. They literally don't even have to go out of their office. So by me writing the story, I did what typically happens with a negative story. I landed him the story on his lap. And the guy wrote it, but what happened was other journalists do the same thing. They read other journalists' things and then they keep recycling them. So, but once you're in, you're just being recycled. And I'm like, damn, I didn't pay anything for this stuff, and here I am getting the benefit of it. And the most awesome thing about it is that the story became bigger than the Vuyo advert itself. Because people thought that was more cool to have seen the ad and done this than the ad having been true. Does that make sense? And then all of a sudden I'm everywhere, man. I'm making fun. I'm like, hey, Voyo, celebrity. Parking is easy now. Then I meet interesting people. That's Richard Branson to you guys, Rich to me. He wanted to buy our business, we turned him down, and for a simple reason, and this is a true story. Because my favorite brand in the world, Nando's, that does amazing things and it's gone everywhere in the world, sells Portuguese chicken. We want to be the first South African brand selling South African food by South Africans for South Africans. So we said no because we felt it would be not true if it's backed by the guys in the UK. So recipe number 4. Have you ever wondered why they say location, location, location? It's always 3 times, never 2 or 1. They don't say location or location, location. It's always location, location, location. I found out the hard way. So in Braamfontein, the site that I found was opposite Wits University. I went to Wits, so I thought I knew the market. Ha! I only went at lunchtime, and there were all these students going past like this, like that. I thought I was going to print money. But what I didn't realize is that your location, this is my interpretation anyway, your location must work for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No matter what business you're in, if you've got a retail-based business, you have to have at least 2 out of the 3 trades, right? So we were surviving on lunch trade, but breakfast, there's no one in Braamfontein because everyone is arriving at work late, and they're rushing off to the office, and in the evening they're going north or south, so that was not a good place to be. That was the first thing I learned. Then another thing that should have been obvious to me is that students drink their money, they don't eat it. I should have known this one. And then vets closes for 3 to 4 months of the year, 5 if you include the fees must fall strikes. So either way, you have very short trading time. Okay, not a very good idea for a sustainable business. So this is what our restaurant looked like. So I'm going to skip because I know you guys have been here long. I'm going to just push fast. Okay, are you still fine then? Okay. This is our first product at the market that I showed you. These were our first buris. You can't really see them, but this is what we did. And I'm a big proponent of don't wait until it's perfect. Start, bro. Just keep doing it. And the best part of it is use your customers' money to make it better. And that's exactly what we did. Because if you sell it, you're getting some money, and they tell you. I wasn't at the market. You can see. They don't even have to say it in words. You see which one is not selling, right? So you improve on that one. You make it. This is what our products ended up looking like. Know their customer. So I see these guys. I was wondering in our Braamfontein. So where are these guys? I see them at Tasha's and all these places. Where are these black guys? Why are they there? This is not our food. You know, why is it that when an American brand opens in South Africa, we stand in line for 3 months to... Did we not have coffee? Eh? Did we not have our donuts? Because so I knew we had this stuff. We've been having it. But why do we stand in queues? Why do we stand... I couldn't understand it. Then I realized, Tinabotaki particularly, we like to see and be seen. So I needed to create an environment that you could see and be seen, and then feed you the stuff you grew up eating. Because all the South African food up till now, no one knew what South African food was. It was usually very dodgy and it's chisanyama. Like, since when did I eat ukudla kwethu kudefine njenge chisanyama phelela? Or very bougie and very expensive. But there was nothing where you and I can just go and take a family and have some real good mohodu or roho or whatever. And the same people, every weekend they go back home. Because they miss their mother's food, right? And to show off their car. I told you, to be seen and be seen. But my battery's low, I see that. Okay, so another thing I discovered quickly was that doing good is good business, and this was by sheer accident. I realized that 50% of the youth in this country is unemployed, 60% of which are women, and only 10% of school leavers will find a job. These statistics at face value are scary and they suck. There's no other way of putting it, right? But then I thought, well, I've got a business model that can exploit this. Yes, I use the word exploit because I'm not a social entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm about in you. Okay? I live in a country where all those people are looking for work. That means I need to figure out how I can make my business to utilize that natural resource. Because that's like gold or oil, it's like any other natural resource. So that's exactly what we did. I discovered that the franchise business model is the one that's meant to enfranchise people, but it disenfranchises them. Because a KFC costs 6 million rand, and 3 million of which you must have in cash. So the only way a black person is going to own that is by buying a street voice too. So it's not going to happen, right? But my business is, I've got carts. And if the guy got enough of these, he can buy a food truck and so forth. Now, I can get a guy starting from ground zero and build his thing and build and build and build, right? And I thought that made sense. And I didn't even think of that. It was on the TV advert. All I did was think of how I can utilize it in my business. So we often got an email from a guy like this. You can't really see him, he's a bit dark, he's from Limpopo. And so, and you'd send us an email and you say, listen, I heard about Vuyo's, I want to be part of Vuyo's. And all we did was we interviewed for attitude, because our business is not that complicated. I mean, grilling wars. I mean, but Vuyo's wars, you know, it's very nice. But we partnered with Spa, and before you know it, these guys were doing 40 to 50,000 rands a month, and yeah, it was really cool. And we're turning Vuyopreneurs into Vuyonaires. And then, as everything, you hear this term, innovate, right? Innovation for the sake of innovation is not cool. We innovate because we needed to survive, right? We discovered being outside shopping centers had its own issues, including weather and so forth, so we needed to find out smarter ways of, and that's what we did. We built these food trucks, and they're very cool, these combis, and we started doing more corporate events. And the nice thing about corporate events is you get paid in advance, which is cool, cash is king. And we started doing big events. This was the 702 Walk the Talk, but a couple of years back. I started an association of food trucks called the Mother Truckers. That's a R1 million truck, million. This is my truck, this is our queue. Wow. It's not, thank you. It's not that full, how do I put that? It's not full because of that our product was cheaper. Our product, we're selling a 60 Rand Buru roll. This is a product that used to be 20 Rand. We raised it up to 60 Rand. That's a power of brand, and it's a power of a good product, I think, right? So, I mean, the only time I see so many black people in a line is voting day, right? I mean, and we pull this, right? So, the point is, good product, good branding helps. And please, if you can, in your business, spend the time, it's worth it, on a good brand and a good product. So we took these old VW combis and we created these mobile businesses, and it did well, but they kept on breaking. And I was doing a talk like this, and the chairman of Isuzu happened to be there, and he turns around and says, hey, I'll donate you an Isuzu truck. And that's what our new food trucks look like. I've run out of time, right? 2 seconds. We closed down our Braamfontein store. We didn't renew our lease because of, as I told you, bad choice of location. Now, I always wanted to move further north to the centers of the world and stuff, but I didn't have money now. I was forced to look south, and I had 0 money. So 9 months later, I found what I think is an okay site. And bear in mind now, I'm very suspect in choosing site because I just failed spectacularly on the other one. Now, I found a site on Vilagazi Street in Soweto, and we literally did a full circle. This is what our restaurant looks like. It looks like any Tasha's, if not better. And this is what we do. We sell amazing food, if I say so myself. And then the customers came. That restaurant, after I failed in Braamfontein and saw my bum, and it was the worst feeling ever, 9 months later, had I quit on that day and had never gone back, I would have never known that 9 months later I would have a restaurant that does more in turnover on one weekend than my Braamfontein store did in a month in Soweto. Hey guys!
Hello, Steve speaking.
Steve, can you help me?
I'll try.
Great, I need something totally different for this year-end function. It has to be Vuyo's restaurant.
So, in closing, everybody here has a story. Oh, by the way, my book is now in the top 5 of the most stolen books in South Africa. That's a good street cred. But in closing, everybody has a story. Each and every one of us in this room has a story. We just need to wake up and action it, and then tell it. Thank you very much.
Talk about Africa as a business. We have it here. It's in our midst, it's in our presence. You can do it. You know, localizing, I mean, you epitomize localization. Earlier on, we were speaking about how do we then localize our existing markets according to global considerations. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing Vuyo's internationally. That's what's going.
Thank you.
That's what's going. Can we take questions as we close? Anybody with a question? Oh, okay. So So we've got one in the blue. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay?
I think that's a time. Let's just take 4.
4.
Yeah. Unless they want to stay. I feel bad, you know. I was given 30 minutes, so. Oh, okay.
All right. Let's take the first 4. Yes, sir. Quick one.
My name is Eddie Kahani from Gouteng Constructions.
Okay.
I'm from Soweto. And my question to Vuyo and everyone here is, guys, are we aware that Rona, Rena, Rona, meaning that amongst Rona Kafelamo, like the black community, we've got all it needs to keep this country going.
Sure, so what's the question?
My question is that, are we aware that everything that we need is not abroad?
All right. Copy that. Are we aware of it?
I'm aware.
Okay. Audience, are you aware? You are aware. We are all aware. Answer. Question number 2.
Hi, my name is Enhle Dambuza. I would just like to say that you are bloody brilliant, all right? Really, you're blessed. I'm in marketing, so when your story broke, I was still in agency, in quite a large one, and I thought to myself, mighty God, why didn't I think of that? That question. You know, I wouldn't have opened a restaurant because I'm not that way inclined. But the fact that you spotted that is really brilliant, and you kind of rode the wave, and you're still riding the wave. And I've been blessed enough to I partook in the Braamfontein store. I'm glad it's closed, by the way. Yeah, please take that with a pinch of salt. I am glad it's closed. I lived just on the other side of Rampa Street for the longest time, and I was constantly at your restaurant. Would be very bummed if it was closed. You're brilliant. Your food is brilliant. The service is amazing. Please do thank the staff. I do want a food truck, so please tell me how do I do that? Because you made me a fan. You made me a fan. So may God continue to bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. With regards to the food trucks, there was a bit of a challenge there in terms of, as I said, doing good is good business. But then it grew so fast. Then I didn't realize that I had to make a decision. What is my core business? You know, when you start managing something that you're passionate about, but it's not necessarily yielding you the returns, what can happen very quickly is that you don't have a sustainable business. So we needed to focus, and which we did, and that's where we are now. We're focusing on the restaurants, and as soon as we built enough capacity and capital, we're going back to push that side. Yeah. It was a tough decision.
Well, my name is Jacob. I'm an acquaintance of one of your chefs, James. By the way, I was in the restaurant on Easter Monday. Yeah, I noted in your presentation, did you switch the color from your brand red to black for the food truck?
Oh yeah, that's a good, well spotted. Thank you very much. Good question. Yeah, so when we started, our brand was more young and more kind of hip. Once we started opening the restaurant, believe it or not, there's a science to restaurants. And there was actually a science to even why the Braamfontein store, I don't want to use the word fail anymore. What we learned from the Braamfontein store, when I say it that way, is that site selection is not just about the location itself in terms of where it is in an area. It's also where it sits in that area, which direction it faces. Where the sun shines in, where the sun sets. Believe it or not, that makes a difference. It makes the store warm. It makes, because even the chairs that you sit in, you have to design them specifically, you know, especially African bar. But no, seriously, if you look, there's a science to it. If I want you to linger longer, if I want you to stay in a restaurant, I'll give you seats that with armrests. I want you to sit longer. And then we balance those with ones that I can turn you around faster. So all that learning is stuff I didn't know before. So when we opened the Soweto store, we were wiser. We didn't even know we were wiser until you start speaking to people who've been doing this for years. They tell me, dude, that shop, and if you look at the Braamfontein shop, there's no restaurant that has survived it. Not one. So yeah, it's one of those things. You gotta learn and live and learn.
Sure, powerful. Ergonomics, human ergonomics. That's another conference we should have. No, like serious.
So sorry, so the black color is more restaurant, it's more mature. Okay.
Oh, my name is Chandani. Vuyo, your story inspires me, man. First of all, so, like, I would like to ask you a question. When you see your store that doesn't have customers during those peak hours between the morning and in the evening, what you were thinking as an entrepreneur?
So, good question actually. I thought to myself, well, if they're not gonna come to me, I'm gonna go to them. That's actually how we invented the food truck, or we got into the food truck. I was like, well, if they're not coming here, I'm paying the same electricity, paying air conditioning, and there's no customers. But I've got the fridges, I've got the staff, so why don't I just make the food and take it there, wherever they are? And that's exactly what we did, and we started getting corporate gigs. So even when we weren't doing well, the outdoor business started subsidizing the restaurant. So the restaurant actually became a central kitchen. And it kept us afloat long enough so that when our lease came up, we could get out and say, no, thanks but no thanks kind of thing. And it kept us going even for the 9 months after while we were looking for the new site. So we innovated. We just didn't say, hey, we kind of needed a plan B. I hope that answers.
Thanks so much. Last 2 questions. See, there were hands up. Okay, so we have one here and one in the middle. Thank you. All right, let's go for you.
Hello, hello.
Wow.
I would like to know about your book. Do you have it with you now? Where can I get it and at how much?
It's $155. You can get it at every exclusive books. I wish I had some, but organizers, they promised that they were going to send everybody who was here a copy, and I'm going to autograph it, and that's what they said. Yeah, that's what they told me. So I'm going to autograph you all the copies, and the guys are going to send it to you, okay? So, round of applause for organizers. Next question.
Exclusive books. Roger that. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes.
My question is like, how have you I see that you have turned every challenge into a success. But I congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
And then the other thing, like how do you see a failure? Because you don't see failure as failure, you see failure as an opportunity. So how do you do it?
Okay, so firstly, to be honest, like failure, when it happens, it hurts.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, there's nothing as hard, or one of my worst moments was closing the doors in Braamfontein for the last time. They taught me though that I would never want my future franchisee to go through that feeling that I was feeling at that moment. But at that moment, I wasn't thinking about that, if that makes any sense. But over time, now that I can reflect on it, I can say I never want anybody to go through that. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. But one last point I wanted to add about seeing opportunities. Right now, I'm at school. In fact, I'm late for cooking right now. I'm in culinary school, because the previous question was the importance of education. I mean, I run the restaurants, we're busy opening more. But I'm telling you now, I'm in culinary, so I work from the morning, I finish at 5, I go to class until 10, but now we're doing practical, so from 5 till midnight, I'm cooking at someone else's restaurant every night. And then I start again at 6 a.m. the next day. That's because if we want to improve and we want to be better, some of this stuff is already there. The knowledge is there. I don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. So I won't lie to you, it's hard. Working in the kitchen is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. You stand for 18 hours. Think about it. Heat is 40 degrees, it's minus 18 in the freezer. Yeah, anything on the food, don't do it. but I guess my point is, if I'm going to elevate South African cuisine, people have been doing, the French people have they've been cooking, they've managed to elevate their cuisine. Do you know that the Japanese spend over $1 billion in making sure that you eat sushi the same way everywhere in the world?
Yo, Say again, please.
They spend over $1 billion lobbying UNESCO to make sure that sushi, you eat it with the chopsticks, there's the wasabi, there's the ginger, there's California. Tina, do you know, like, the part that blows me away? When I was growing up, Ethiopia was a very, very poor country. I mean, maybe it was 1-2-year-old thing, but I always thought of Ethiopia. Ethiopia's got more cuisine everywhere in the world now than we do.
That's right.
How does that make sense? There's 1 billion Africans on this continent with a similar taste profile. Why are we not creating our own cuisine and making sure it's going out to the rest of the continent? We grew up all eating the same stuff. Anyway, thank you so much.